one of the things that's real difficult about growing up in a city like Rockford and I think this is probably true for a lot of inner cities and cities that deal with a lot of poverty and a lot of crime because of years of injustice and things like that, is where a lot of people don't survive those 20s. And some of the most talented people just don't survive their 20s, and then some people who maybe survive the 20s, but they survive their 20s and they survive it because they gone, they locked up somewhere, or maybe they survive their 20s because they got to move and get away from here. Or then maybe it's some niggas who survive their 20s physically, but once they out the 20s, they just don't got that same passion no more. They don't want to create no more.
I was going to say, I feel like one of the biggest things of that doesn't allow that mindset to mature, because we talked about earlier having the art mature with you, is when I talked about I got another kid and these things, but I have a system around enough that I still have the mental bandwidth and capacity and some of the resources to do that. Some of the systemic things that attack a lot of people in their 20s that by the time they get to their 30s, they got so much life shit going on that they don't have time in the bandwidth to have art as a part of that, and that's what really, and we talk about different cultures, being able to be 60 and do performances and shit. We got local niggas, bro, I do marketing for my full-time job, and it's local bands that make, and there's local bands with white people who play guitars and shit, and they make a living doing covers and shit. And it's our community, if you're someone that's from the inner cities and your 20s were what a lot of people's 20s are from the inner cities, by the time you get to your 30s and 40s, you don't have the bandwidth and the understanding business wise and all these other things that I could continue to do this art in a different capacity and not have to be completely absolved of it, And the other thing too is with hip hop culture, because some of it is so negative, and there are portions of it that aren't benefiting our community, that people associate when I was rapping, I was selling drugs. When I was rapping, I was fucking bitches unprotected. When I was rapping, I was driving drunk. When I was all of these bad things that you were doing were so deeply associated with hip hop that once you mature, it's well, shit, I'm finna throw the baby and the bathwater out because this shit ain't do shit for me. And so it takes a lot of stars aligning to get to a place to where you're in your 30s and you have a healthy relationship with hip hop. And one of the things for me, bro, is I was thinking of this yesterday, because I was just thinking about some of the things we were going to talk about and things like that, and it's and this is something that I've been on for when I was in my 20s. So I do think that I had a good understanding of my awareness to this thing just from being from New York and having a super high standard and historical context for what hip hop is and all these things. And the thought I had was and this is something I had for a while, is that if my mom can't listen to what I'm saying, not how I'm saying, but what I'm saying, then I ain't really, do I need to be saying it? Right. You know what I'm saying? If I'm embarrassed to play certain shit around people that I love, then what are you hiding a part of yourself? Are you living a double life, nigga? What, what's going on? And so I think that's part of the maturity of your relationship with hip hop is and I talk about not being afraid to tell people I'm a rapper, but if I was talking about selling drugs and going out on the weekends and fucking bitches and taking niggas girls and this, that, and the third, as a grown ass man, that's kind of embarrassing to say that that's what you do, that's kid shit, So I forgot what our main point was, but just the maturity of it and being allowed to mature with it. A lot of us don't get the opportunity to do so. And